The first 30 seconds of this video reveals something most players never stop to think about, because behind the cute explosions, the smiling characters, and the colorful mazes of classic Bomberman games hides a surprisingly dark, strange, and unintentionally hilarious world full of secrets, unsettling ideas, and bizarre implications that completely change how these retro games feel once you look just a little closer. And by the end of this video, you will never see Bomberman, his enemies, or even those innocent-looking bricks the same way again. At first glance, Bomberman looks harmless because he is small, round, colorful, and constantly running through cheerful labyrinths, while placing cartoon bombs. Yet the moment you slow down and actually think about what is happening on screen, the entire concept becomes strangely disturbing, because the game is literally about trapping enemies in enclosed spaces and systematically blowing them up until nothing moves anymore, all while upbeat music plays as if this is the most normal thing in the world. Classic Bomberman games from the 80s and 90s were designed to be simple and addictive, but simplicity often hides the weirdest secrets, and in this case, the simplicity raises uncomfortable questions, because the arenas feel less like playful playgrounds and more like carefully designed execution chambers, filled with destructible walls that funnel characters into narrow corridors where escape becomes impossible and explosions become inevitable. One of the darkest secrets of Bomberman lies in the design of the enemies themselves, because many of them are not monsters in the traditional sense, but strange creatures that seem to live peacefully inside the maze until Bomberman arrives, forcing them into panic as the map slowly disappears around them, creating an unintentionally funny yet unsettling scenario where the hero is the only one with full control over life and death. The bricks are another overlooked detail that hides a curious mystery, because they block paths, hide power-ups, and explode into nothingness without explanation, which leads to the unsettling idea that these arenas are constantly being dismantled, piece by piece, as if the entire world exists only to be destroyed, making Bomberman feel less like a hero on a mission and more like a walking demolition event. Power-ups in Bomberman are presented as rewards, yet when you think about them deeply, they are tools of escalating destruction, because every flame increase, every extra bomb, and every speed boost exists for one purpose only, which is to make explosions bigger, faster, and harder to escape from, turning each level into a calculated escalation of chaos rather than a test of skill alone. The comedy of Bomberman comes from how casually the game treats total annihilation, because characters vanish instantly when caught in an explosion, leaving no trace, no consequence, and no reflection, which makes the cheerful tone feel strangely disconnected from the outcome, as if the game is quietly teaching players that destruction is temporary, harmless, and even funny. Another curious secret is how Bomberman himself is portrayed, because he has no visible emotion beyond determination, no clear backstory in the early games, and no hesitation when eliminating everything that moves, which creates an unintentionally funny interpretation of Bomberman as a character who exists purely to place bombs without questioning why or who gets caught in the blast. The multiplayer mode of classic Bomberman games takes this idea even further, because friends are encouraged to betray each other, trap each other, and laugh while blowing each other up, turning cooperation into chaos and making the game a perfect example of how quickly friendly competition transforms into calculated destruction when bombs are involved. What makes this even more intriguing is how the arenas reset after each round, erasing all evidence of what just happened, which suggests a looping world where destruction has no lasting impact. A place where characters are trapped in an endless cycle of rebuilding and exploding, creating a strangely dark interpretation of Bomberman as a timeless ritual rather than a simple arcade game. Classic Bomberman visuals also hide subtle, unsettling details because many stages feel empty, enclosed, and isolated with no visible exits, skies, or living environments beyond the maze itself, giving the impression that these characters exist in confined spaces with no escape beyond survival through explosions. Even the sound design contributes to the dark charm of Bomberman, because the cheerful music contrasts sharply with the constant blast sounds, creating an atmosphere that feels playful on the surface but oddly intense underneath, especially when the tempo increases and the map begins to close in, forcing everyone toward a chaotic finale. The sudden death mechanic is one of the most revealing secrets, because it literally rains obstacles from the sky, shrinking the arena and removing all safe spaces, transforming the game from strategy into panic, which feels less like a challenge and more like an inevitable countdown to destruction where survival becomes a matter of timing rather than intelligence. When viewed through adult eyes, Bomberman becomes unintentionally philosophical, because the game presents a world where power leads only to more power, destruction leads to more destruction, and winning requires eliminating everything else first, which is funny in a dark way when you realize how casually this lesson was delivered to children. Through cute graphics and catchy tunes, the humor of classic Bomberman lies in how the game never acknowledges its own brutality, because explosions are constant, defeat is instant, and everything resets without consequence, creating a cartoonish cycle that feels lighthearted until you realize how strange it is that the solution to every problem is simply placing more bombs. Another hidden curiosity is how Bomberman never truly saves anything because there are no civilians, no visible goals beyond clearing the stage, and no lasting changes to the world, which raises the question of whether Bomberman is actually protecting something or simply maintaining an endless system of controlled destruction. Looking back, it becomes clear that Bomberman's charm comes from this contrast because the game is both innocent and ruthless, simple and unsettling, funny and strangely intense, making it a perfect example of how retro games often carry darker themes, unintentionally hidden beneath pixels and playful sound effects. The reason these secrets feel so fascinating today is because players have grown up, gained perspective, and started asking questions that never mattered before, turning childhood memories into curious investigations and transforming simple bomb-dropping fun into something surprisingly deep and entertaining to analyze. In the end, classic Bomberman games are not just about explosions and quick reflexes, but about a strange world where destruction is normalized, competition thrives on chaos, and cute characters casually erase everything around them with a smile, creating one of the most unintentionally dark yet endlessly fun franchises in retro gaming history. If you enjoyed uncovering these dark, funny, and intriguing secrets hidden in classic Bomberman games, make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment sharing your favorite Bomberman memory, and share this video with friends who grew up with retro games and are ready to see them from a completely new perspective.